to Raise the Bar Smart Money podcast. Your host, Juan Pablo Delgado, who is a business owner, co-founder of RTV Latinx and Financial Pro, will take you with business owners, professionals, and people who are in the hustle. Raise the Bar Smart Money podcast es un espacio para cotorrear sobre negocios, emprendimiento, la vida misma y el billete. Bienvenidos.
Do you want to switch gears to a new career? Do you want to identify your strengths and potential skills? What happens when you met your ideal employer, but you don't know what to say? Therefore, you need to have a shortcut to get to your perfect career goal. My guest is Analia Mendez. She's the CEO of Signature Careers, where she coaches, mentors, and guides professionals through those challenges and new processes. Analia Mendez began her career at San Diego State University, where she managed a Health Career Opportunity Program, a Health Resources and Services Administration federal program in 2001. Analia has spoken as a career expert for the U.S. News and World Report, Univision, and the National Association of Colleagues and Employers. Outside of speaking and coaching, she volunteers, writes, and presents for national professional organizations like Comic-Con International, Women in Bio, and National Career Development Association. She has been featured expert career panelist for an Association for Women in Science and National Association of Legal Assistants, just to name a few. Since obtaining a BA in psychology and a master in counseling, it has been her desire to inspire those in career transition. Analia Mendez, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you, Juan. It's my pleasure. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Analia, in a few minutes, please tell our community a little bit about yourself, your journey. What do you think people should know about you?
Well, I have been, I was in higher education for many, many years, but I started my career very humble, and I'm a first-generation college student in my family, and the first one to graduate with a degree in psychology and a master's degree in counseling. And I grew up in Modesto, California, where there weren't a lot of, at the time, there weren't a lot of jobs and there weren't a lot of careers that I could go into. And at a very young age, I moved at the age of 17 to Sacramento State to start my education. And from there, obviously I went to school, transferred to San Francisco State, and got my degree in psychology and my master's in counseling, and that's where I started my career.
Awesome, that's great. Tell us about your business right now. And how you started?
Sure. So after I got my degree, I went into counseling and I decided to go into college counseling. So I started working at universities throughout the country. Part of it, I jokingly say it was me, and then the other part was when I found my partner and spouse, it was my spouse that we ended up moving throughout the country. But I ended up working for 8 higher educational institutions. Public, private, and some community colleges. And then the last one that I worked at was UC San Diego, where I was the director of career education and advising at the Career Center. So I was in charge of by now 40,000 students' careers. So it's a huge job and a lot of responsibility.
I know.
And of course, yes, and they also serve alumni, so they have 200 plus alumni. And so that was my job most recently up until January. But what brought me to where I'm at now, which is I have my own company called Signature Careers, and it's a career coaching company for career transitioners, people who want to look for new jobs, or maybe they got laid off because of the pandemic, or they are wanting to switch gears now into a whole new career. I help them through that process. And so I have my company Signature Careers where I coach them, guide them, and I make sure that they're on the right track.
Right. I love that. Why is it important to have a career coach right now with all these things going on and people losing jobs, and as you just said, like transitioning maybe in a different path?
Yes. And I love that you asked that question, Juan, because a lot of people don't know what a career coach does. They know that they're like, well, why should I hire a career coach? So I love that question because it's something that, one, has been on my mind for a long time. But also in terms of clarifying to people what it is that I do. I help through my formal education. So obviously that's, formal. I have the degree in psychology. I have a background in counseling. I will help people really get clear about what they really want. Mm-hmm. And when people are in transition, that can be very difficult. And it can be difficult because they may not have people around them that can help them. They may not have people that support them in their career goals. They may just be stuck altogether and be confused about which direction to go. And for anybody that's wanting to make a career transition, I highly suggest a coach, a mentor, or someone that has been in the business for a long time that will guide you through the process. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to learn, and you're still going to learn on your own, but it's going to be more difficult. It's going to be more challenging, and it's going to take you longer. So look at your career coach as the shortcut to getting to your ideal goal, careers, with a lot of experience and connections, because I have a lot of connections with recruiters, and I know a lot of people that I can connect you with. Mm-hmm. Things that work and teach you techniques that will get you to your goal much faster. So for example, I'm a strengths-based career coach, and so I'm certified by Gallup. And Gallup has this assessment that will tell you what are your top 5 strengths and how can we use those strengths to move you into the direction that you want to go. Otherwise, it's hard for you to figure that out. Like, what are my strengths? Because a lot of people come to me and they say, I want to transition into a new career, but they don't know what their strengths are, so then it's harder. And then I help them through that process.
What do you like the most about your business, your job?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny that you asked that question too, because right before I was getting ready for our podcast, I got a message through LinkedIn, and it said, thank you for your services. I am currently working. And it was from a client. And when I get those messages, to me, there's no money that can replace what I do for people and how I can help them into a new direction. And the work that I do is so meaningful that it changes people's lives, like literally changes their life. Because
Absolutely.
If they invest, a few $100s, sometimes a few $1,000s in working with me, that is going to give them a return on investment. And I know this is kind of a financial podcast too, a return on investment.
Exactly.
That's tenfold. It changes their life completely. And so when I saw that, because, when you're in your mid-30s, mid-40s, and you have mortgages and family and many, many responsibilities and partners, and you need that job that's going to, help your family, that changes everything for someone. So for me, that is priceless.
That's wonderful, and thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that must be very rewarding. So that's paramount. I mean, I always say that the best investment is in yourself. What are some of the struggles that you have and some of the lessons that you learned from it?
Along the way. I think the very first lesson is, one, like you said, learn about yourself, because you can't make the change. You can't make a career move without really knowing who you are, what your values are, what kind of environment you want to work in, what kind of environment you want to be surrounded in, because it all matters. There's a lot of people that right now are saying, wow, I never thought I would love working from home. And then you have other people that say, I can't wait to go back to work. I want to work at a location, not at home. So that's a preference. And that's a preference for different people about what they want and how they want to lead and have their life. So the first step is know who you are, understand what makes you happy, and then of course the financial awards will come after that. And then the second thing is really get the help, because early on in my career I thought I could do it all. I didn't have the mentor, because I didn't have, I had a brother who was in college, but he was in college. Outside of that, I didn't have anybody else that can show me, like, how do I get my degrees? And so my parents were super, super supportive, but they couldn't show me. They couldn't show me how to, graduate from college and be successful. But the moment that I got my mentor, and her name is Dr. Amy Hittner, she really showed me everything. She showed me about how to create budgets, how to run operations. And because of all the things she was willing to show me, I became a director multiple times at different universities until I ended up here at UC San Diego, which for me, it was the ultimate goal, to be the director of a career center. And that's what I ended up doing. And so get the help, get those mentors and trainers that can help you. And don't postpone it. Yeah.
No, that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, you need to take action in this matter. And we hear a lot about success. A lot of people want to be, successful professional entrepreneur. They want to have financial independence. Can you share some of your insights, or maybe some of the most important financial lessons that you've learned?
I think it's planning. When you start something, you want to be successful, you have to start with the end in mind. The end in mind is, what do I want to do? How big do I want to grow my company? What kind of financial wealth do I want to build? What kind of stability do I want to have in my household for the future? That's always something that you should think about as you're planning your financial wealth. Money, the word money, I think a lot of times, at least in my household, it wasn't something that we talked about around the table very much. So talk about it. Talk about it openly with your partners, with your family. Begin to teach your children also that money could be a very good thing. And it could be, if you plan for, I want to make X amount of dollars, that whatever amount that you set for yourself, it's fine. It's okay to feel and want to be wealthy. There's nothing wrong with that. And so I think as you really start to think about, where do I want to be, start with the end in mind, and then work diligently towards that. Every day there should be something that you should do that's making you money. A lot of coaches, if you go to any business coach or financial coach, they might say, what are you doing that is money producing? And a lot of times we're afraid to do those extra tasks, and we do things that everything else but what we're supposed to do to make the money, right? So we go answer the email, the phone calls, but we don't do the things that are money makers. So every day you have to say, what are the things that I'm going to do that is going to make me the money that I set for myself and the goal, and that's going to move the needle for my business. So that's always really important also.
100% agree with you, and thank you for sharing that. And you have to start the conversation about money. And of course, money is freedom. So what are your thoughts about financial independence?
Yes. Financial freedom means different things to different people. That's the other thing, right? So what financial freedom might mean to me may be different what it means to you. To me, financial freedom may mean I want to be able to be available to my kids. And because I'm making the money that I'm making when I want to make it, then I have a chance to do that. And financial freedom to me means I have the flexibility to, at a certain age, where I don't have to work as hard as I'm working now, right? That one day I'm going to be able to enjoy my time with my future grandchildren. It's so funny because my child, my partner, my husband and my partner and I, we talk a lot about money. You know, we are very open with money with our kids. And he said, Mom, what did you want to be when you were a kid? And so I thought that was a really funny question, and I said, okay. At one point I wanted to be a nurse. And he said, well, why weren't you a nurse? And then I told him the story, and then I said, but I went into psychology and got my degree in counseling, and I've had a really amazing career in higher education. He's like, great, Mom, and what do you want to do now? What is your next career? And I said, well, I'm already in my next career. I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, and I own my signature careers company. And he goes, great, Mom, great. Mom, what do you want to do after that? And I thought it was so funny. He kept asking me these questions, and I said, oh, my next career is going to be the best grandmother I could ever be. And that's my financial freedom.
Exactly.
That's my financial freedom.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I love it, and thank you for sharing. No, that's absolutely right. And Analia, what accomplishments are you most proud of, and why?
Wow, accomplishments. I, again, grew up very humble. So currently, and I don't say this to boast, but currently I've had an opportunity to travel the world. I've been to Dubai, to France, all over the U.S., luckily because of multiple reasons, all over Mexico. Es hermoso, bellísimo Mexico. But I've had an opportunity to experience the things that I want to do. And there's more to come. I've had also the financial stability to be able to support my family financially, and to be able to say, my parents' washer broke down. Which one? Pick out a washer. I will buy you whatever you want. Those are the things that make me the most proud. Obviously, getting my degrees and continuing with my education and being able to impact people's lives, again, to change their lives, that has made me, very happy in the work that I do, and nothing will take that away from me, and nothing can. So, outside obviously of being a mother and a wife and creating this beautiful home for our family, but it's those things that make me the happiest, and I feel it's a huge accomplishment. So, being able to have that freedom and the flexibility to live the best life that I can for me and my family, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Ay, me encanta. I love it. And now I would switch a little bit to español. That's
bueno,
beauty. Y me gustaría preguntarte qué líderes, mentores admiras y por qué.
Ay, hay muchos líderes, pero a mí me encanta, bueno, lo máximo para mí sería hacer y trabajar con, por ejemplo, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins es un gran mentor y coach, sí, claro. Y lo he visto en persona, no lo he conocido en persona, pero lo he visto hablar, una persona muy amable que tiene mucho que dar a la gente. Tony Robbins, y también como estaba platicando hace rato que mi mentora, la doctora Dr. Amy Hittner, fue una gran persona para mí, y ella pues está en mi corazón, y yo siento, hasta hoy me preocupo yo de ella, cómo está, qué está haciendo. Claro. Que si no fuera por tenerla a ella en el principio, cuando yo estaba en el colegio, a lo mejor no estuviera aquí, pero ella se tomó el tiempo para guiarme. Entonces, para mí, ellos son los héroes de mi vida, ¿verdad? No, y obviamente mi familia siempre me ha apoyado, mis papás, y verdad, mi esposo y mi familia para seguir adelante. Es muy importante.
Muy importante la familia. Gracias por compartir, Analia. ¿Y qué legado te gustaría dejar?
Para mí esa pregunta es muy importante porque, pues, estando en la industria que estoy, ¿verdad?, de consejería y de ayudar a la gente, un día yo quiero que digan, esa persona me ayudó, esa persona me cambió la vida, esa persona por lo que hizo por mí, yo se lo voy a regresar a otra persona y que eso siga, que siga y siga y siga. Y estábamos hablando de mentores y leaders. Oprah Winfrey es otra que habla mucho de eso, de tirar la piedra y que haga muchos efectos, ¿verdad?, en la agua y que siga eso caminando por muchos años. Entonces, para mí sería eso, que alguien diga, me cambió la vida y por eso yo voy a dar otra vez a otra persona que necesita eso.
Oh, wow, sería fantástico. Y bueno, ya lo estás haciendo, de hecho, así que me encanta y muchas gracias por compartir. ¿Y cuál es la mejor manera de que la audiencia se ponga en contacto contigo o tu negocio? What's the best way for the community to get in touch with you or your company? And I think you can answer in both English and español.
Sí, por las redes sociales, estoy en todas las redes, por Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn es otra que uso mucho. I use all the social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, at Signature Careers is where you find me. O también en mi página personal que es Signature Careers con una s.org, O-R-G. Y ahí me puedes encontrar, pero si me quieres agarrar pronto en LinkedIn, ahí estoy siempre, ahí vivo yo.
Me encanta, fabuloso, muchas gracias. Bueno. Analia, y antes de concluir, ¿algún mensaje final que te gustaría compartir? Before wrap this up, a final message that you would like to share?
Sí, pues especialmente a todo al público que está escuchando, pues y a mi gente latina, que quiero que sepan que ustedes pueden hacer todo lo que ustedes quieren si se ponen sus metas claras, si tienen las ganas y el poder y la energía de seguir adelante. Yo era una muchachita muy humilde, ni de modesto que quisiera. Yo vivía en un pueblo muy pequeño, donde no había mucho. Y de ahí yo hice una carrera increíble y sigo con mi negocio ahora. Pero ustedes pueden hacerlo, especialmente ahorita. Ese es el tiempo de reflejar y de veras estar claro en que puedes hacer lo que tú quieres. Y por favor agarren los mentores y las personas que les puedan ayudar. So in English, I know that you can do it. You can attain your goals. You have the ability to do it. This is the perfect time. Employers are actually changing the way they do things. So this is a great time to make all your goals and career goals happen.
Analia Mendez, it was great to have you here. We are wishing you all the best and be safe.
Thank you.
Of course,
Gracias.
Raising the bar. Analia, muchísimas gracias por estar aquí y sigue superándote, sigue ayudando mucho a la comunidad como lo estás haciendo con tu negocio a través de tu experiencia y tu carrera como Senior Career Coach. Creo que ahorita es fundamental tener una ayuda como la tuya. Así que muchas gracias por estar aquí.
Gracias, Juan. Es un placer. Gracias. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed and learned from this podcast interview. Keep raising the bar with belief, action, and results. If you're looking for more valuable content, please visit our YouTube channel, Raise the Bar. Hasta pronto.